And the only link that keeps the patient going, with the link with the patient, with the link with the doctors, with the link with the whole healthcare profession. So pharmacists are listening. Pharmacists, they ask you, there's a problem, they go to the pharmacist, they say, okay, what's going on with this? We have a pharmacist here, what do you think? They ask us about everything. Pharmacist's role, and in particular in the community pharmacy, has changed into dispensing. We have to get our role back. So we need to get the clarity. Why are we going through the workforce development? Why do you want to do that? So pharmacists have their role. They will be distinguished in the community. They will be distinguished financially. They will be also rewarded all over the years they've spent training and taking courses. And honestly, I have to say that who doesn't want to go through that road, he has the option, he's still a pharmacist, but he will lose all this distinction and advancement and achievement. So that's the thing we're doing here. That's the carrot. We cannot force anyone to do anything like Catherine just said, but I'm pretty sure people will be driven to advance. We're a profession that keeps on advancing. Healthcare in general, as much as advanced it is still well behind. Always new diseases. Medicines have not cured everything. Counseling has not cured anything. Everything. Doctors have not. You'll always have a healthcare problem. You'll always need a pharmacist if the pharmacist's role is still there. Not to make this long, Sweet Faces got a bit sad. No, don't get sad. Things are going in the right direction, everybody. I want to welcome you again, everybody, to this conference. Thank you. 2 minutes, don't worry, I'm tired. Few words in Arabic. لزملائي الصيادلة الأردنيين وزملائنا من الدول العربية، أنا إعزاز باللي نحن عم نقدمه. نحن بينا للعالم كله في مؤتمر في الافتتاح امبارح وجود كل يوم معنا كل حدا انه نحن صيادلة المنطقة وصيادلة الشرق الاوسط والشرق المتوسط نحن فعلا رافعة لمهنة الصيدلة، ونحن فعلا جزء لا يتجزأ من المنظومة الصحية، وهي شيء رح نثبته the FIP International Conference, and proudly I would like to say it's in one of our Arabic countries. It's in UAE, in Emirates. It'll be in Abu Dhabi. So I will encourage everybody here to also participate in this conference. We're proud to be part of that spot as
chairman of the steering committee for this regional conference. صباح النور، ما بدك احكي كلمات عنك شويه؟ Dr. Nizar is a procurement process that reduces the cost of purchased medicine and supplies. Nizar is also a faculty member in the Jordan University of Science and Technology. He is also the chair of this conference. The floor is yours.
صباح الخير للجميع. أنا ما عندي سلايدات ولا كاتب، فراح أتحدث باللغة العربية لمدة 5 دقائق. وبارك حقيقة احنا اشتغلنا بجوز فترة لمدة 3 شهور على تحضير هذا المؤتمر. متأكد انه اتحاد الصيادلة الدولي ايضا عملوا، وانا متعود اكون شفاف دائما صريح. من فترة الاعلام بيسأل شو عنوان المؤتمر. الجواب كان دائما ابراز دور الصيدلة إبراز دور الصيدلي الصحية في الرعاية الصحية الأولية. تبدأ من الصيدلي نفسه. في الرعاية الصحية الأولية على إنه مش بس تاجر، هو ممكن يكون تاجر، لكن هي جزئية من كل. الدور الحقيقي إنه يقوم بالدور تبعه تجاه المريض وتجاه المجموع بما يخص مهنة الصيدلة. لو بدنا نعمل توصيات كل يوم ولا تقرأ، بالتالي مش راح نلاقي أي ثمرة ولا أي شيء ملموس على واقع الصيدلة. يجب على الحكومات ومن هذا المنبر إعداد منذ سنوات سابقة على مستوى الأردن وعلى مستوى بعض الدول في المنطقة، لكن لم يتم تفعيله. أخوان، أنا بعرف كعضو هيئة التدريس إنه دوره التدريس وبحث وخدمة مجتمعية، فبالتالي يجب أن يكون هنالك جسور ممتدة من الجامعات، وخصوصا إنه عندنا جامعات حكومية تدرس السوق وتأمن وضع الصيدلي. يعني مشكلة الصيدلي راتبه قليل، بس ليش؟ لأنه أعداد الصيادلة كثير. فما أتمنى في هذه المهنة، ومن ثم نقابة الصيادلة، وبعدين احنا لما نتمكن من كل نشوف انه، وبلشنا نشوف كليات الصيدلة يرأسها غير صيادلة، والصيدليات بلشنا نشوف انه لمستثمرين مش لصيادلة، فالمهنة في خطر ويجب.
I would like to highlight what Dr. Nizar mentioned in his address. He would like to recommend for FIP chair of Emro Farm Forum, Eastern Mediterranean region. He graduated from Faculty Pharmacy, University of Jordan in June 1996. He's working on pharmaceutical and medical. Also elected as the General Secretary of Jordan Pharmacy Association. Dr. Salah, the floor is yours.
برنامج يعني first Emro Farm Forum conference organized between GPI, FIP and GPF. This conference is a newly era regional cooperation in pharmacy practice, which can reflect on quality and performance to lead a positive impact on employment rates, income and economics. Despite all challenges happening in our region, which affect the progress and development of pharmacy practice, we are determined Afghanistan, and we are proud to have Palestine in the heart of our region. Dear pharmacists, our aim is to improve the health policies in the region, as well promoting the implementation concerning the education to prevent diseases and disabilities.
Upload the who will be addressing the audience. So Dr. Ahmed Al-Madari from Oman. He was
the vital importance of pharmacy and of information. The FIP in highlights our collective commitment. I met FIP colleagues at the global conference. I was so impressed by the concrete action and leadership that has been undertaken by the FIP in few months to facilitate their vision for a world where everyone benefits from access to safe care. Learn from each other's experiences. I understand that the discussions arising from this meeting I look forward to supporting efforts to address our priorities. I regret I am unable to join you in person for this important conference due to prior commitments. But I request that you engage with Dr. Adi Nusayrat, our technical officer, leaders and delegates. Let me convey my very best wishes for a successful and productive conference. I look forward to the outcomes of the meeting and to working together to improve primary
join us, but we are very fortunate to have Dr. Adi Al-Nusayrat, since January 2016. He's responsible for the planning, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of WHO collaborative programs on essential medicines and pharmaceutical policies in member countries of the Eastern Mediterranean region. Before joining WHO, he worked at the Jordan Food and Drug Administration as head of the Rational Drug Use Department. Dr. Adi Al-Nusayrat will be talking to us about achieving better primary health care for Eastern Mediterranean region, needs, priorities, and the role of pharmacy. Thank you very much for attending this conference, and you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, and it's my pleasure to be here in this very important and well-organized conference. So the presentation will be about the role of pharmacists to achieve better primary health care. As mentioned by Catherine, the foundation of primary health care concept and activity has been done in 1978 within the Alma-Ata Declaration and Conference, and within this conference there was by the governments and stakeholders that to urge them to support the primary health care activities, and there was a definition of what is the primary health care. In 2000 we started with new era with Millennium Development Goals, include 8 global goals, 3 of them related to health, to child and maternal health and to infectious disease. In 2015, an ambitious development goals have been prized and include 17 global goals. And it includes the global goal number 3, which is related to ensuring healthy lives and promote well-being for all. And last year there was an Astana conference and there was a declaration to reinforce about what we were talking about Alma-Ata conference. So primary health care has been defined in 1978 by during Alma-Ata declaration, and it is recognized that the first level of contact individuals, the family and community with the nation health system, bringing health care as close as possible to where people live and work, and constitutes the first element of a continuing healthcare process. So it forms that an integral part of all the country's health system, and it is a cost that the community and country can afford. The primary health care within this conference has defined 8 elements. It's includes also all types of treatments. Here in the Citana Declaration, they reinforced the importance of primary health care, and the leaders and stakeholders that they support to have an effective primary health care activities, and they acknowledge how they can support even professionals to have to be handled the primary health care. Primary health care can also support universal health coverage, which is included as the target in the Sustainable Development Goals to achieve universal health coverage, including financial risk protection, access to health quality services. This universal health coverage, it includes the population, the number of population or percentage of population covered or insured, and the services that, for example, afforded or services that done by the government, and health services, and also that the patient will pay less amount, and we for the other parts of population, they can share of the cost of this health services. Healthcare can support universal health coverage. It is known that 90% of all health needs can be achieved through the primary health care levels. The primary health care can also work in universal health coverage. For example, it is has been shown as a cost-effective compared with delivering those same services through the referral health cares. Also, it's can be, let's say, based on high performance access to these services. Our region, which is include 22 countries, it is considered like have different from economic area. For example, we have lower income countries, we have middle income countries, and the high income countries. These red are the low income countries, and green these are the Gulf region, which is the high income countries. This region have different variation, even not only in the economic area, but also it has variation of number. Usually in WHO, based on 4 services related to reproductive, maternal health, infectious disease, 27 other Gulf countries. The problem here that in those who are the poor countries, they will bear almost 70% of people will pay for the health cares, while the other, let's say the Gulf countries, it's less than 20%, the out-of-pocket expenditure. Here, the countries and out-of-pocket expenditure people face financial catastrophe, and almost 7.5 million people become poor due to the out-of-pocket expenditure. So here are the challenges that are facing our country, the region, regarding the primary health by WHO as the highest, the grade number 3. This, we have in our region that 62% of refugees are from our region, and about 55% of internally displaced people are also from our region. These conflicts lead to the destruction of the healthcare facilities, and we have also fleeing out of the health workforce from the countries of emergency, that have emergency. The second challenge that we have poor quality of health services, especially in public sectors. The services is not well with good quality. We also have inadequate health facility infrastructure, spaces for the patients, and also one of the important challenges that most of the health services are provided by private sector. It can be an opportunity if we can have a good engagement and partnership between the public and private. But for our region, about almost to 70% of outpatient service are provided by private health sectors. And if you look at the poor people here in some countries, for example, in Pakistan, 85% of poor country go to the private sector and pay money for these services. And if we look more about the private sectors and assisted private sector in EMR, we found that it is huge, very complex. It's not well regulated. You will find that even like this PhD in the world of Jim and Evil, he has PhD. So the private sector should be regulated by the government in order to have a good quality of care. Other challenges facing us are shortages of health workforces, and in general we have shortages, especially in Afghanistan, Somalia, and Yemen, with pharmacists. And about 7 out of 22 countries face critical shortages of health workforce in the region. We have what's called the family medicine, and now we are all the health care providers, and we have a lack of capacity in this field. About 93% of physicians are general practitioner, and they are not found family doctors in primary health care. So, as I mentioned, that challenges regarding the pharmaceutical sector, and we have like pharmaceutical service-based in primary health sector, that we have shortages of pharmacists. We have dispensing area, in medicine storage, and in pharmacists in the primary health care that he have counseling for the patients. We have suffering also the pharmacists that there's no remuneration for the pharmacists to be contribute for primary health. Enforcement of regulation, and we have even the production of family medicine specialists is very low, and almost 20% of medical schools have family medicine departments. We have strategies that to increase the number of family medicine specialists and those GP to make diploma for them to be a family practitioner. We have different technical guidelines regarding the family medicine and education assessment tools for the countries, technical tools to support the primary healthcare activities, and even we are focusing about what's called essential health package or benefit package that each country should have within each primary health care. We also assessing now, because we need to have engagement and partnership between the private sector and the public sector, and to assist the regulation of private health sector. This is the most important of my presentation about how the pharmacist can achieve better primary health care. First of all, access to medicine. This is the role of pharmacist. Pharmacist has the crucial role in saving in the availability and quality of medicine. In management of non-communicable disease, to even make the patients to have to adhere to the vaccination and immunization, and I think pharmacists can have a role in this. To summarize, and this is the last slide, that primary health care is an approach that focuses on the person and patient and not the disease. So it is considered all determinants of health, address the most important problems in the community, and it needs a political will, and pharmacists have a crucial role in achieving better primary health care. Thank you, and by the end I would like to thank my colleague who's working in family medicine and primary health care, Dr. Hassan Salah,
for your presentation. And unfortunately, we have run out of time, so we will not have time for the questions and answers. But what I find really important to highlight is that many of the aspects that were addressed here in both the messages that were conveyed by the organizing committee, from our president Dominic Jordan, from the CEO, and now from the WHO regional office, will be addressed during the conference, in the workshops, in the plenary session. So fortunately, we will have plenty of opportunities to discuss all of these items. And it's really important also to highlight the fact that many of the challenges that were now here presented, we as pharmacists have been working on them at the international level, at the regional and at the national level, and we believe that pharmacists truly have here an opportunity to increase their role in ensuring that we do achieve healthcare for all. And this is what we will be discussing in the next 1.5 days, to ensure that we are really able to deliver on what we are highlighting as possible and actual and current pharmacists' roles in these various domains. We have a few messages to wrap up the session, and before I hand over to Dr. Samira to acknowledge all of the speakers that we've had in this first plenary session, I will just like to highlight, you have seen in many of the slides that we do have hashtags available for you to tweet about this conference, and it is very important that we get the message across the world of what we are doing in this first regional conference. So if you can use the hashtag primary healthcare, hashtag health for all, and hashtag FIP in EMR, we would really appreciate it, because it's a way to reach beyond this room and get the message across all pharmacists of the region and across the world of what we are doing here and what are the discussions about. So please do that. We also would like to highlight that you, inside your cases, bags, you have an evaluation form which we ask you to fill in by the end of the conference. It's very important for us to be able to evaluate the sessions. Oh, it will is beyond us as a group and as FIP and as a national commit to this action by participating in the session. Commit to healthcare for all, so please do sign in the exhibition hall. And now I will hand over to Dr. Samira to wrap up the session.
Before we conclude, on behalf of all participants, I would like to ask Dr. Salah and Dr. Adi to present Dr. Ahmad, on behalf of him, you can... Dr. Salah. Also for Emma to be co-chair. Thank you all. في حدا for نترك مجال لسؤال واحد إذا anybody interested in asking just one question before we have the break. Anybody interested in? Nobody. Thank you. We'll have the break for half an hour and at 11 we'll come back for our next session.